I'm here with Jesse of Killswitch Engage at the Summer of Loud, the Toronto stop. Let me say this to you. I think this feels like a brand new version of Ozfest.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I was just saying in my last interview, I want festival tours to come back because that's kind of what this is. It's not labeled as a festival really, but it is. It's amazing. And I think this needs to happen more because it brings families together, like kids, even grandparents are showing up to these shows, and the vibe is awesome. The bands rotate. It's the summer tour of the year, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you 100%. It does feel like a festival-style tour, and I think that's a great vibe. We don't have enough of those anymore.
No, we don't.
And I think in North America specifically, when it comes to this genre, when it comes to heavy music, we need more of this kind of setup because it really allows people an opportunity, for those that don't have an opportunity, for example, to travel to Europe for big festivals, to kind of get that same sort of experience.
Yeah, Europe does it right for sure, and some of the best festivals I've ever seen in my life are in Europe. We need more of that. So if you're listening and you're a promoter, come on, bring it all back. Let's go. Ozfest again, Warped Tour, whatever. Bring it back.
the Killswitch Engage Fest Tour, whatever you want to call it. Just come up with something catchy.
Yeah.
Something catchy. When you're putting something like this together, how much time do you guys look at the bands in order for the whole package to make sense and in order for the whole tour to make sense?
Yeah, it's unique. I think, when you take any one of the four bands out, they would still be playing fairly large places. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And when I found out there was going to be a rotation of the lineup, to me that was brilliant. It's according to market, So it's fun to watch because, sometimes we're off stage at 7 o'clock at night and I can go watch the rest of the show, or I can go do something, or vice versa. Like tonight we get to headline. To me, it's brilliant. And the lineup is stacked. So, as far as just from a logistical standpoint, the first few days were a little rough, trying to figure out all the kinks. But now we're a month into this, and it's impressive to watch the crews set up, break down, the transition of bands in between, and then the different styles of performances you're going to see when you come see this festival tour. It's great.
As a frontman, do you adapt and perfect the best way to approach a tour like this versus, for example, when you guys are just headlining?
I think obviously the set list is shorter. We're doing 50-minute sets, so you're probably going to get a little more of the hits because that's usually what we do at festivals, because you're not necessarily playing to your fan base only. You're playing to a bunch of people who may not even have heard you. So the idea is to play some more of the stuff that people are a little more familiar with, to hopefully gain new fans. So when we headline, we switch it up completely and play some more of the less popular stuff or more new stuff, which I love personally. It keeps it interesting. But also I think the big thing for me is connecting. When we headline, it's very easy because I know that they're there to see us. In a festival-like situation like what we're doing, to me it's really important to get down into the audience, come off the stage, go through the crowd, and just connect with people. Because I get there has to be security and crowd barriers for insurance purposes, but my favorite thing in the world is singing to people and allowing them to sing with me and looking in their eyes and making that connection. That's everything for me. So I'm trying to, on a nightly basis, get down to the audience and just make that connection happen.
Did you have any set of ideas of what this tour could be, what you wanted it to be heading into it, or did you came in with a complete blank canvas?
No, I definitely looked at what Ipervale Parkway and Beartooth were doing live, and I immediately knew there's going to be so much fire. It's pyro. Every band just brings the fire, especially Parkway. It's insane how much fire that they use. So it's pretty much what I anticipated, and it's great. It's fun to watch.
The band has an incredible legacy. When I talk to young metalcore bands, the name Killswitch Engage always comes up as being such an inspiration for them, for even picking up an instrument, never mind starting a band. Does that legacy weigh heavy on your shoulders at all?
It's definitely on my shoulders, but I don't know if I consider it to be heavy or a burden. I think, if anything, it's an honor, something that I'm, conscious of on a regular basis, the way I carry myself, the way I treat people, the way we as a band treat other bands. When you've been at it as long as we have, when you're kind of veterans, you lead by example. So to me, it's all about putting out quality music that we believe in and care about, to show the younger generation we're still putting in all of the effort that we did when we were younger. And then number two, our connection with our fans, the compassion that I feel for them for supporting us for all these years, the gratefulness I feel, and then again, treating other bands with respect, bringing younger bands out into the road, showing them how it's done, and treating people with kindness and gratitude. I think that's important as far as being a veteran or in a band that has a legacy. Make sure your legacy is good.
And when it comes to the growth of the band, there's also the growth of the fan base. Do you, when you're perhaps not in a setting like this, but when you guys are headlining and you look outside to the people attending the show, do you see that growth in the fan base? Like people in the crowd that perhaps just discovered the band now versus the people that you could totally tell have been with the band from the beginning?
Yeah, there's a lot. Even on this tour, there's a lot of that. You know, and people are bringing their kids. And their kids know the words. There was a couple nights ago, there's actually a photo online of it on the Instagram. His kid, he must have been 6 or 7 years old, and I'm in the crowd letting them sing along, and I see him, and I'm watching him, and he actually knows the words, so I give him the microphone. I'm like, this kid is singing along, and that's incredible. And you could tell Dad was like super pumped, and they're both wearing Killswitch shirts. To me, that's unreal. The fact that we're able to have a younger generation come in, and even 3 generations. Grandparents, we do some meet and greets occasionally, and it'll be grandfather, son, and God's, we've become that band. We've been around for 25 years, so we're technically like a classic rock band now. And to see that gives me hope, number one, because our music is going to live on through the younger generation. And number 2, we still got a job. Job security.
I was going to say, in 10 years, you guys will be dead rock.
Oh, yeah? I mean, we kind of are already, which is fine.
But you guys still have the drive, and you still have the hunger, if you will. And I think the last record that came out, The Consequence, really shows that hunger, that drive when it comes to the way you guys approach an album creatively. Where does that come from? Does it come from the experiences that you have live, or this just comes from a completely different place?
There is a real primal rage inside of me, a righteous anger when I look at the world, when I look at society, when I look at social media or mainstream media. I have such a small tolerance for hate and for the division that's inflicted on us as a means to control us. So for me, my righteous anger is one that wants people to wake up, to see what's going on, the control that we have, the control that the powers that be have over us to keep us divided and bickering and fighting amongst each other and not fighting the real issues. You know, the fact that we're still fighting wars in this day and age is just absolutely ridiculous to me. And, you know, racism, homophobia, these things are still very prevalent. So that's where I have in my sights. If you want to talk about music as a weapon, I'm after hatred, I'm after division, I'm after all of these things that I think we can change as a people. And the wisdom and experience that I have gained from traveling and being an artist and a musician is people are genuinely good. The more I meet people and talk with people and sit with people, people who don't necessarily see eye to eye with me on certain things, when you open up a discussion and get to know who they are, I'm here to tell you most people in the world are good and they want good things. So we need to figure out how to find common ground and live more compassionately. And that's something that drives me every single day. It's the balance of righteous anger and the desire for wanting people to embrace love and compassion and put that into your daily life, because we can make changes. It starts with us.
Is it easier for Killswitch Engage 25 years later to feel that way, or for you to feel that way, considering we live in a time period where a lot of people are afraid of speaking up in that manner because they're afraid of the consequences that could come towards them?
I get that. And you'll notice when I do speak about this, I keep it very general, because I'm not interested in an agenda. I don't want people to look left or look right, or I want them to just look at the world through a different lens, and all the filters that we continually put on them, pull them off. So I don't use words that I know will trigger people. I don't talk about a left or a right or a conservative or a Republican. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm interested in the common ground that we can all stand on. And if that bothers somebody, if me wanting unity and love in the world bothers somebody, then they're the one with the problem, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Because I have no agenda other than we can do better. We can treat each other better. And we have the power to create change. And the powers that be, call me a conspiracy theorist, don't want you to know that. They don't want you to realize that there's strength in numbers. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to swallow the narrative they're giving you, stay divided, make them money. And we need to push back, especially in my country. We need to push back and take our power back and realize that we, the common people, the working class, however you want to say it, we control things. We just don't realize we do because we're so manipulated. And that's one thing I'm pushing back against every day. Take the power back.
How do you feel about something that it's becoming more of an issue that affects your peers more than you, being a US-based band, which is like the visa cost? Like you're going to be on a tour in Europe with the guys from Fit for an Autopsy, amongst other bands, which is so much easier to tour in versus an European band coming to North America. I just heard that the visa prices are going up, by the way.
Awful. It's awful what they're doing to... I don't stand behind any of that stuff. To me, especially when you're talking about artists, people who are spreading a message, I think it's despicable. I hate what's happening when it comes to that stuff because it affects everybody. It affects everybody, and it doesn't affect the wealthy. That's my big gripe. These people who are these billionaires who are calling the shots, because in our country, it's not about politics. It's really not. It's more about money. It's about industry. It's about the pharmaceutical companies. It's about big oil. It's about plastic. It's about chemicals. These billionaires that control everything. And what's happening right now, and it's been happening in our country for a long time. It doesn't matter who's the president. It's not about the working class. It's not about the poor people. It's about the wealthy getting richer and the poor getting poorer. And that needs to stop. And how do you do that? You know, for me, it's the little things, how I spend my money, the things that you do behind the scenes, the causes that you support, organizations you can donate to. But the problem with, especially with the United States politics, is the lobbying. It's all money. People are just paying people to do things, and it's awful. It's run like a massive corporation, and it needs to be dismantled because the system is rigged, and it's not rigged in favor of the people. I can tell you that right now.
Are you concerned about the business state of music, or the music business state, if you will?
Yes.
Like we got the visa issues, but in general, bands these days, without touring, without the merch, you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yes.
It's really hard for a band to make a living creating art.
Yeah.
And everybody else around them seem to be making more money than the people who actually create the art themselves. How upsetting is that?
It's very upsetting, but it's a tale as old as time. It's been like that since day one. I mean, if you look back on the early days of the recording industry, you know, the amount of money that these labels are made, I should say, because that's completely changed. It's the same thing as someone like the guy who runs Spotify. He's rolling in it and funding wars, and we get paid pennies on millions of streams. And there's a reason for it. Again, call me a conspiracy theorist. It's to control the arts, to control people rallying around a cause. And for people who speak up about these things, like me, I write songs about unity. I write songs that are anti-racist. I write songs that are speaking out about domestic violence. That's dangerous because it unifies people. When you realize that we have a common enemy and it's not you or I, that's when people organize, unionize, come together. That's dangerous. That's why artists are constantly being held down. I know that's a reason for it. So I'm proud to be able to continue to do this with a tour like this, for example. We all bond together because touring is very expensive. And sometimes the crew makes more than the band does because we need to make sure their salaries are steady, and we just get it based off of how well we do. And it's a very fickle business. And if you're a young band, you have to suffer through years of being broke and just scraping by to even get to a point where you can possibly make a living doing this. And as you mentioned, t-shirt sales. T-shirts are literally saving our asses out here. We've become t-shirt salesmen. It's the one thing that we get to actually make some decent money on. But, you go to Mexico, for example, there are bootleggers all over the streets, so we know we're not making money there. But supporting a band, going to see live music, buying a t-shirt will help so much. And I do hope one day we can shift things around, man. I think, I look at...
Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel for how the business, specifically when it comes to heavy metal bands or extreme metal bands, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel on how things can improve? Or if you were in charge and you had this magic wand, like, do you see a way of waving it and make things better?
If I had a magic wand, of course, if I had a magic wand. I'm going to be honest and say at this moment right now, I don't have a lot of hope. I think we're probably going to go through a difficult, dark time for a little bit before we pull out of it. But it takes promoters, it takes business owners, it takes club owners, it takes touring bus owners. The people who are running things that we're paying for, those are the people that can create the change. Those are the people that can make things more affordable for us. So it's really on all of the people that make money off of us. We're not the juggernaut that people probably think that we are. Our wages, especially when you talk about taxes, forget about it, man. You can cut my paycheck in half and it goes to the government, hands down in the United States. So it's really up to people, vendors, people who lease buses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to help this situation out. Because in the long run, if you don't have bands, who can... What is that?
It's a bug.
A bug just dropped into your crotch.
Yeah, I know. And I was
and you were so casual. I was like, oh no, dude.
I was like, whatever, it's a bug. That's the most
funny.
action I've seen in a long time, so it's fine. It's a bug.
Funny. So, for me, it's things can get better, but we need help. If there's no bands to tour, then all these people who are making money off us won't be making money. So it's kind of a no-brainer to make touring more affordable for bands. So that's really the answer, but it's a long game. It's not going to happen overnight.
I had a crazy idea or thought the other day. I was thinking about Spotify and how much little artists make on Spotify. Like you said, like pennies you guys are making. And I thought to myself, man, the world would have been a completely different place if Metallica had purchased Napster and taken control. Not just Metallica, but they were the big one at that time. Taken control of the streaming services. If a band was behind that, the system would have been a lot more fair for the artists themselves. And I think sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to be a visionary in order to find a solution before a problem even exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I look at unions, for example. We're working with unions constantly, but as far as touring bands, we don't have a union. We have no one protecting us and looking out for us. So it is going to take somebody that has the wherewithal and the knowledge of doing that type of a thing and finding a platform that would work to actually pay artists what they deserve to be paid. It's insane the amount of money that people make off of us and how little we make off of it. But in this world, you can either complain or you can try to make changes. So I try not to complain, and I'm trying to roll with the changes.
And then obviously voice your opinions and your visions and your lyrics. Do you see yourself as a lyricist or a storyteller?
A little bit of both, I'd say. I mean, if I could be so bold, I'd say a poet more than anything, because I write poetry at least once a week, and sometimes more when I'm home. And that was my first love before I got into anything. I could put out a book. I have so much poetry. So to me, and poetry can tell a story, but I think that sometimes it just happens by mistake. I just love words. I love working with words. I love the sound of them. I love making them rhyme. I love looking through the thesaurus and finding different words that mean different things. So I'm kind of obsessed with words. But I would say poet more than anything. I'm a poet.
You're a poet. And when you look at a new record, when you're working on a new album like this latest record, do you bring lyrics from your poems into the songs? Or do you have to listen to the music to kind of get a vibe?
With Killswitch especially, it's the music first. I listen to the music and I allow it, the sonic sound of it, the way it makes me feel, the tonality of it, and then I'll jot down sort of words and ideas, and then from there I'll write. And how I usually start is like once I've got the chorus, the basis of what I want to say, because we all know the chorus is like kind of the point. Once I have that, then the rest is pretty easy. But to me, the music inspires me. I love the music these guys write. I really love it, and it inspires me every single album cycle. It's very rare that I'll just bring words and then the song is already there. I'm sorry, scratch that. It's very rare for me to like have words before the music. 99% of the time, it's the music first.
These guys still inspiring you?
Yes.
As much as you're inspiring them?
Hopefully I'm inspiring them, yeah. I'm doing my best, but yeah, these guys, even some of the stuff that didn't make the record, the demos that didn't make it, and even the 3 songs now that have been yet to be released, I love all of it. It's fun for me to hear. We've been a band for 25 years, and these guys still make things that inspire me and excite me. And I hope that continues to happen. I feel very fortunate for that. These guys are just an incredible band. I'm fans of the 4 of them. Even if I wasn't in this band, I love the way they write. They're brilliant.
I think they're huge fans of yours as well. I've talked to a few of the guys during some of the album cycles, and they've always had so many nice things to say about you and working with you. So I think the love is mutual. There's a lot of love in the room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love in the room
They
with
love
you
to
guys.
bust my balls, though.
But I think that's what bros do to one another. Like you bust balls. It's especially when you're on tours for so long.
All the time.
Yeah, you have to kill some time, right? So you got to do something like that.
We love each other.
And that's important. You need to keep that vibe because that comes across in the music as well.
Yeah, and you can see it on stage too. Like we're having fun, and that's another thing I think is important. It's not just ultra serious message and all this stuff. There's an element of like just have fun too. So you'll get a bit of the sincerity in between songs, but you'll also get Adam D chugging a beer and making shitty jokes, which I think is good.
It's good.
It's nice to have that balance between the ritual of music and the message of it, and then just entertaining people and allowing them to have fun. Because, dude, people work so hard, and when they come to a show, a lot of people just want to have fun. So drink a beer, listen to metal, get in the pit, headbang, and do your thing.
Hang loose.
Yeah, man.
Last thing I want to talk to you about is the last show you guys played in Toronto was at the Phoenix. It was like a one-off. You guys were in Montreal, and you came down with Despised Icon, and you played a show at the Phoenix.
Yeah, I remember that.
My boys from Despised Icon.
Yeah, those guys are great.
And let me tell you, I don't know if you realize this, but that day was fucking hot at that venue.
I remember.
There was sweat dripping from the ceiling onto the crowd.
Yeah.
It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. You guys created your own ecosystem
Yeah.
inside the venue.
It's nasty.
Is that a sign of the energy and that you guys bring on stage that creates that sort of synergy with the audience where you have sweat building up on the roof?
I think it has a lot to do with the audience. I think we're fortunate enough to have fans that are that passionate about what we do. And of course it affects us. You know, the sign of a good show is the audience. Even if we're not playing at our best, which sometimes happens, if the audience is there for us and supporting us and we see that, that makes it a great show. And we owe everything to our fans. That energy exists because of them. And we know it.
And on that note, guys, if you want to catch out Killswitch Engage on Summer of Loud, check out their socials. Check out the description on this video. I'll have all the tour dates there. Don't miss it. This is a festival style tour with incredible bands from bottom all the way to the top. And then at the top, you got Killswitch Engage tonight in Toronto, Summer of Loud. Thank you for watching.
Peace.